G'day, welcome to Stories of Mind, Solutions for Living. Insomnia is one of the most tiresome aspects of anxiety. Lying in bed, doing head miles, that is, thinking the same stuff over and over again, like replaying that argument but with all the things you wished you'd said, or worrying about the money, or reliving the worst moments in your life. People often tell me they can't seem to turn it off. They toss and turn and count sheep, but the monologue keeps going. Often when sleep finally comes, it's restless and full of unsettling dream fragments. What to do about this? Luckily, we are not the first to grapple with this problem, and a solution is ready to hand. If you've seen the other videos in this series, you'll know I am going to explain the solution's origins, and the part science has to play, along with the experiential knowledge that human cultures have developed. That's because I believe knowing how stuff works allows us to know where to look and what to do when things go wrong. Okay, so let's start with the ancient, experiential, culturally acquired side of the solution story. There are two religions that really embrace the concept of monasteries. That is, lots of guys living together with a vow of celibacy and the rejection of worldly goals in pursuit of spiritual growth. They are Christianity and Buddhism. I saw the ruins of one of hundreds of ruined monasteries at Angkor Wat that reputedly housed 70,000 monks. That is seriously huge. That's the size of a small city. One monastery. The largest Christian monasteries held up to 500 monks. And here's where the science comes in. Back in the 70s, a researcher called Kinsey began to survey people about their experience of sex. One of the findings attributed to Kinsey was that men think about sex a lot more than most women could possibly imagine. I believe the figure was around every 7 seconds. Frankly, I don't see how that's possible. That's 8,000 times during waking hours. Let's not even talk about the content of dreams. It wasn't true. A more realistic finding is that the average man tallied 19 sexy thoughts per day. That comes out to about once every 1.26 hours. Now, I'm thinking that if you have hundreds or thousands of guys living together, there's an awful lot of thinking about sex going on. Thousands of thoughts a day if totaled. Probably not what you want happening in celibate communities, especially in homophobic medieval Europe. So what to do about that? All those obsessive thoughts, head miles, we know what that's like, eh? Very hard to stop, especially when there is no acceptable solution in sight, as in women. Okay, so not real women. I think it's no coincidence that monks in monasteries, Catholic and Buddhist, do a lot of chanting, many times a day, even at seriously uncivilized hours, like 12 a.m., then 4 a.m., then 8 a.m. I think you're getting the picture. And the chanting took quite a while. I'm betting they were so tired they thought longingly of sleep more than sex. Just joking. Interestingly, both religions rely on a set of beads that are counted to keep track of how many repetitions were done, and both use 108 beads, so 108 repetitions, plus one that's offset. Let's face it, a highly competitive meme is intruding like a bad ad on free TV 19 times in 16 hours, disrupting the thoughts of the otherwise pure of intention. Do you see what a serious tool the abbots needed to get into the guys' heads and get the chicks out? I gave chanting a try one night when the head miles were rolling by and so was the hour hand on the clock. I figured, if it can stop guys thinking about sex, surely it can stop me arguing all night with my virtual mother about virtually everything. I went with a common Buddhist chant, Om Mani Padme Om. It means the jewel is in the lotus, and is associated with the Bodhisattva of compassion. The Catholic Hail Mary is nice too. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Guess what? It worked. I don't think I got anywhere close to 108 repetitions before I slipped off to sleep. A nice peaceful sleep. The next night I made up my own chant. That worked too. I don't know what the significance of 108 repetitions is, But given that monastic traditions used chanting for at least 1,000 years before neuroscience came along, I will give them credit for working out what is perhaps an optimal number, whatever other explanations they have developed to explain it. And here comes the science again. Research indicates that chanting reduces arousal in the parts of the brain associated with fear and anxiety. Whether this is because chanting prevents thinking, or whether it induces a brain state that we find calming, is not yet understood. And it doesn't seem to matter if you chant out loud or in your mind. So, next time you find yourself lying awake at 2 a.m. doing head miles, try to remember chanting. Set yourself the goal of 108 repetitions of whatever phrase you choose. I'll make you a bet right here and now that you'll fall asleep before you get anywhere near that. Thanks for spending time with us today. Or is it tonight? If it's tonight and you're driving yourself crazy, go back to bed. Chant. Brought to you by Stories of Mind, Solutions for Living.